Y'all good?
So ice and what else? Yeah. I have Teresa too. Yes, I'm gonna have Kimberly come back. I know it's not on there. We've got some things from the executive orders from the president regarding ICE, and we said I just want to give you guys an update because they've sent us some information
Okay.
procedures.
All right. All right, good evening, everyone. The time is 6 p.m. The meeting is now called to order. The date is January 23rd, 2025. The meeting has been held at the Lancaster Administration Building Board Auditorium, 422 South Center Avenue, Lancaster, Texas. This meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act. I will now take roll. Trustee Hamilton. Present. Trustee Nichols.
Present.
Vice President Smith. Here. Secretary Morris. Present. Trustee Cluis. Present. And Trustee Whitfield. Is she online? Trustee Whitfield? Okay.
Yes, I am. Was my name already called? I didn't hear that at all. I was just let in.
Trustee Whitfield, you have to show yourself to be counted present.
Present.
All right, thank you. Myself present, a quorum has been established. Empowering all students' purpose and passion through quality education is the mission of Lancaster Independent School District, and I thank you guys for being here. We will now recess to closed session. As authorized by Texas Open Meeting Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551, Texas Government Code 551.071, 551.072, 551.074, and 551.076. And we will discuss and take action on personnel update and employment administrative personnel. The time is now 6:03 p.m. We will recess to close.
Recording stopped.
right, the time is now 7:02 p.m. We are now reconvening to open
Recording
session.
in progress.
We have one item that we will discuss, and that item pertains to a legal matter regarding one of our former trustees and Lancaster ISD. Is there a motion?
President Jones, I make a motion that we move to,
All right.
move for Attorney O'Hanlon, that the Lancaster ISD settle the pending suit with Mr. Stevenson with mutual release and this.
We'll prepare a settlement agreement for President Johnson.
Okay.
Trustee Clues, can you please speak into the microphone?
Okay. I make a motion that we move to have Attorney O'Hanlon settle the pending suit with Mr. Stevenson with mutual releases and dismissals rather. Each party to pay their own costs. O'Hanlon is directed to draft a settlement letter or agreement and submit to President Jones for signature.
Okay, we have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded by Secretary Morris. Is there any discussion?
Yes,
Secretary Morris?
I would just like to make a statement that we utilize those funds to move forward with trying to pursue other funds that could be used in court for our students. That is still outstanding, and the board has not made a decision on which way to go on that one. So this will give us money to make a decision to move forward.
President Jones?
Trustee Hamilton?
Mr. O'Hanlon, I have a question before I make a statement. Am I entitled to speak into what this lawsuit, what we're settling publicly?
Are you entitled to speak to it?
Speak on what we are settling?
Yes.
Okay. I'd like to say that I'm not in agreement with the motion that was made due to the fact that we've had board members be abusive with district funds, and we have to yield ourselves from trying to recoup those funds because we'll spend more money on legal fees trying to recoup our money. And I think it is important that we recoup our money, but I do understand not spending additional money that can be used toward our school buildings for students and teachers. So that's my statement.
Right. Thank you, Trustee Hamilton. Any other comments?
I would like to make a comment as well.
Trustee Whitfield?
It is to my understanding, based on the information that is publicly shared as it relates to the cost to the district, and it is disturbing to know that we have spent thousands of dollars, and I do mean thousands of dollars, on a case that was not worth more than $1,500, if that. And the details of it is still in question. However, having board members that continue want to pursue this case and to spend additional thousands of dollars on this case just to prove a point is very concerning, and it is not in the best interest of our district. It is not in the best interest of our students, and those funds can be used in other areas. Although we have been advised, it is with understanding that the I don't know if I could state whether we're not supposed to be charged. However, we are being charged. Again, public information. But still, there has not been a detailed conversation regarding that agreement nor documentation to be provided to the board. And I mean the entire board as it relates to that statement. But again, as I reiterate, we are spending thousands and have spent thousands of dollars on a case that should have never went to court due to, per public information, a violation of Texas Education Code 11.1512.
Okay, Trustee Whitfield, you have 30 seconds.
The documentation that is public should have been provided to the trustee when requested. And all of this is over requested documents that was not presented.
All right, thank you, Trustee Whitfield. Would you like to make a clarification, please? The amount that, the overall amount related to this particular case is thousands of dollars, but it's not just a matter that we are selling tonight. So I just want to make clarification for that. And the other items that were requested by Trustee Stevenson at the time has been satisfied. So, of course, the legal system runs slow and it costs a lot, and that's where we are right now. So we're looking to, motions made for us to get this issue resolved tonight and move forward in empowering all students' purpose and passion through a quality education. Secretary Morris.
Thank you, President Jones. I would just like to say, probably we have spent close to the amount of this whole legal fee issue. It's $49,000. That's probably what it ended up to. But we have our opportunity to go after $350,000 that we need to go after. And so the judge will order to go to mediation. Mediation will be free to him, but the district will have to pay money to go to mediation because he can just claim he can't afford it. He's retired. And the courts will grant him a mediator free. And so instead of us, it will be a mutual agreement because there was some records that he felt like that he needed to get. And he feels he didn't get those records, but our record shows that he got it. So for us to pursue to send a message with district money, I can't go with that one.
All right, thank you, Secretary Morris. With that being said, we'll now take a vote. If you will, look at your respective devices and cast your vote as it relates to this motion.
And I will be verbally voting for my position.
Trustee Whitfield, what did you say?
Not getting anything, President Jones. Right here. Yep.
Ms. Allen, did you get mine?
Mr. Derricks, can you come and make your
Yes, I
Mr.
did.
Bill? Help make sure.
Yeah, he got it. He's good now. Are you good?
Did you get mine?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, Ms. Allen, is everybody cast their votes?
President Jones, give me 1 second, please.
All right.
I have all of the votes with an exception of Trustee Whitfield. I do not have her vote.
I will be verbally voting.
Trustee Whitfield, I need to ensure that you are complying with everyone else. So in the future, before we get to our next action item, then make sure that you have your information ready. I sent an email out early part of this week reminding each trustee to be equipped and prepared for tonight's meeting. With that being said, Ms. Allen, would you go ahead and share what the votes are?
Yes, thank you. President Jones, I have 4 yes, 1 no, and 1 abstain.
And I abstain.
All right, so we have 4, 1, 2. This motion passes. This issue will be resolved soon. Thank you very much, Board, for taking action on this item, and we will now move to our opening ceremonies. This is a joyous occasion. Board Appreciation Month. Hello, world. Dr. Pereira.
Thank you, President Jones. I'm going to call forward Ms. Simpson, who I believe is already at the podium, to share that information with our board and our community. And I just want to say that tonight obviously is an opportunity for not only myself, but this community as well as our students, most importantly, to extend their appreciation for the work that you all do. It's high-paid positions, right? I'm just kidding. It's all volunteer work. It's all volunteer work. But nonetheless, I want to say that I appreciate you all on behalf of our students and our staff and the work and the time that you put in to ensure that our district is progressing and doing well. Ms. Simpson, the floor is yours, madam.
Thank you, Board President, Board of Trustees, and Dr. Pereira. At this time, I'm going to welcome up our scholars from West Main Elementary to lead us in our U.S. and Texas pledges.
All right, will the parents of these students please stand? The parents of these students, please stand, and let's recognize them, please. All right, the next item on our agenda is recognition and commendations. Dr. Pereira.
Thank you, President Jones. Again, Ms. Simpson will bring that information forward to our board and our community. Ms. Simpson, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you, Board President, Board of Trustees, and Dr. Pereira. Board, it's January and it is Board Recognition Month, so I'm going to ask you all to please join me on the floor. And if you look behind your seat, there's a special jacket. Bring that down with you. Just hold it for the picture. You guys are gonna, I know y'all want a styling profile. I want y'all to hold it for a picture as well, so before you put it on. So as you all know, it is Board Recognition Month, and the theme for this year's month is Leadership for Tomorrow's Texas, which highlights their dedication, leadership in public education, and continuous service to the children of our community and district, Lancaster ISD. We would like to take a moment to recognize our Board of Trustees and honor the work they do every day. We appreciate each of you for choosing to serve the employees and students of Lancaster ISD. As a token of appreciation and in celebration of School Board Recognition Month, you know each Lancaster ISD campus had to show you some love and get you some swag. Now what you're holding right now is specifically from Dr. Pereira. She got you real ready with your names on the back, a custom-made Lancaster Tiger jacket, Letterman style, so you all will be ready. And then you have from our campuses, well wait, I'm gonna go back, from the athletic department, you also have a polo shirt, and from the communications department, you have a nice Stanley-like, but it is branded with, it is better than Stanley. It is branded with Lancaster ISD's Dream, Believe, Roar, so it's better than a Stanley. You have the Lancaster cup, all right? And you also have a big basket full of goodies from Ms. Fran in the superintendent's office. So we took care of you there. Now, you know our campuses had to do it big for you all as well. So let me just read what you all have. It's a lot, okay? So from Beltline Elementary, an educational book, a lunch bag, personalized lunch bag with some tasty snacks from Houston Elementary, sweet treats from Pleasant Run Elementary, a journal, pen, and candle from Rolling Hills Elementary, a tumbler set from Rosa Parks Millbrook Elementary, a Weibo Nation desk pad from West Main Elementary, a scarf and hat from GWC, a blanket from Lancaster Middle School, personalized long sleeve shirts from BAMO 9th grade campus, an LHS vest from Lancaster High School, some tasty cookies from Lancaster STEM Early College, a sweet treat from Nothing But Cakes from JD Hall Learning Center. That is a lot, okay, and it's all over there in your baskets, all right? So we'll help you all kind of take all this stuff out. And then I do want you to look around. You have some nice thank you notes and messages from our students at some of our campuses. And Ms. Morris, I know your grandkids go here, and they wrote on that sign right there behind you, all right? And so we're going to take a quick picture, and then we're going to do another one because I know Dr. Pereira is over here waiting to do the confetti, all right? So let's hold up your jackets, please. And then is Dr. Jackson here? He's going to lead us in his good job for the board, all right? You ready? Good job, good job. Good job, good job. Viva Veloci Deo B, good job, good job. Try to We got two more, so what you gonna do? Get some of this hands to the side. Thank y'all so much. And then you do have a basket full of items, but again, it's too big to carry, so you guys will have that at the very end. And we truly, truly appreciate you all. And let me get you all just to stand here. It's not done. We're not done. We're not done. And if you want to, because we got some wonderful kids coming up, so I know you're going to want to shake their hands. So I'll give you a moment just to place your jackets down if you would like. All right, so it's a celebration this evening. Lancaster ISD is proud to announce the winners of our district spelling bee. So let's get some excitement and welcome up our third place district winner, Mr. Josiah Yarbrough from GWC. Notice he has his medal and his trophy. He is here to show off his spelling skills. And in second place, we had our scholar, Yoretzi Sanchez from Houston Elementary. And our spelling bee champion from Beltline Elementary, Miss Tamisha Hart. So just so you all know, we are proud of all three scholars, and Tamisha and Yoretzi will go on to represent Lancaster ISD in the Dallas County Public Schools Spelling Bee. So we are wishing them great success in that one. And again, our students, we are extremely proud of you all, okay? So we're gonna get a quick picture with you. If you all could go in the middle for us. So academics and fine arts, absolutely. All right, guys, I know you have all the hardware and your certificates, so you guys can hold that, and then the board is going to represent you with their L's in the back, all right? All right, big congrats to these students. And I do want to recognize the parents of these scholars, so if you don't mind, please stand. Parents and families. And siblings. Okay, I'm a little bittersweet about this next announcement, but I know she's happy. So we're going to ask Miss April Janeway to please join us on the floor. We can go on and clap it up for her because she definitely deserves it. So after 27 years of service, 10 of those years in Lancaster ISD, Executive Director of Student Data Management Systems, April Janeway, will retire at the end of January. Ms. Janeway's leadership and dedication to Lancaster ISD has been invaluable. Her impact on the PEIMS department has been profound, leaving a lasting legacy that will be remembered for years to come. She has graciously worked with all departments and impacted our district in the most way, including communications. I have to put that in there. Thank you, Ms. Janeway, for your commitment to hard work and the positive difference you've made in Lancaster ISD. You will always be a part of our family, and we are going to miss you. Happy retirement. So, Ms. Janeway, I know your family is here. I'm going to ask them to come and join you down here for a quick picture as well. And then Dr. Jackson, if you could come. Mr. Louis is here, of course. And Janeway, before we take a picture, I want you to open your box. You know, we're going to keep you in that swagged out gear for Lancaster, so. All right, so a couple of pictures. Do we need people to come in a little bit? All right. Thank you, April. We appreciate you. We love you. All right, board, at this time, you can return to your seats if you would like. Yes, Louis, that's it. All right, and just updating you on some things that have taken place within the last few weeks. Vice President Kendall Smith proudly representing Lancaster ISD at the Southwest Dallas County Alliance of Black School Educators School Board panel discussion. Alongside board members from the Best Southwest School Districts and Dallas ISD, Trustee Smith shared insights on key education topics. He also highlighted Lancaster ISD's ongoing excellence and praised Superintendent Pereira and her team for their impactful leadership, which is recognized across the DFW Metroplex. So good job, Trustee Smith. In 4th and 5th grade, students at Rosa Parks Millbrook Elementary School had the unique opportunity to learn basketball skills from the Dallas Mavericks Mavs Academy team. The event, which focused on the fundamentals of basketball, provided a fun and engaging environment for students to practice shooting ball, handling, passing, and the triple threat position. The full article can be viewed on our website and also a video, so you can check it out and see how it was on the day of. And Lancaster IC proudly joined the City of Lancaster's Martin Luther King Jr. Parade, celebrating unity and legacy of Dr. King. In honor of MLK Day, Lancaster IC employees, who are also members of the Divine Nine Black Greek organizations, united for a meaningful day of service and community. Employees supported the Student Services Department throughout the event with a successful winter wear clothing drive, collecting gloves, hats, scarves, socks, jackets, and coats for students in need. The celebration also continued as Trustees Morris and Cluis joined us during the parade route as well, and staff members proudly participated in the annual parade and showcase. We were walking and riding, and it was cold, but we made it through. So, very impactful day, and obviously it was a good thing to celebrate Martin Luther King Jr., Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And just some upcoming events and general information. We want you to mark your calendars for Friday, February 7th, board, for the launch of our new District Wellness Initiative. This kickoff event will be held at the LHS Indoor Facility at 1 o'clock. It will last until 4 p.m. You can expect engaging activities, resources, and tools designed to support in the areas of social emotional wellness, financial wellness, and physical wellness. And this is our professional learning day for our staff. And as a full staff within the district, we will all be participating in the Staff Wellness Initiative. So if you have time, please stop by. You are definitely invited to that. And then Lancaster ISD's Special Education Department will be hosting a Transition and Community Resource Fair on Saturday, March 22nd. There will be a car show, food trucks, and vendors that will provide information regarding educational opportunities, planning for life, and after-school employment services, and much more. So you're going to hear more about that, but we definitely want to put that on your radar. And some upcoming campus closures. As a friendly reminder, Friday, February 7th is an Independent Learning Day. Students will participate in a day of learning at home or in a non-school location with online assignments, interactive learning challenges, and more. They can get that additional information from their campuses. And it is a professional learning day for staff, as I just mentioned. And that morning will be professional learning, and then from 1 to 4, the health and wellness kickoff. February 17th is a staff and student holiday in observance of President's Day. And Black History Month is on the horizon. The theme for 2025 is African Americans in Labor. We will be spotlighting individuals who have paved the way for change in the African American community by sharing their stories through video on our social media pages. Our students and staff members will be featured in these videos, so be ready for that on all of our social media outlets. And Board President, that concludes our board acknowledgements.
Right, thank you very much. Ms. Simpson, this has been, I was full. The spelling bee winners and Dr. Jackson spelling well for us tonight too. He should have had an award, you know. Yeah, also thank the board as well. I mean, it's great to be acknowledged and affirmed, and thank the campus principals and administration for the tokens of appreciation you guys have provided us for tonight, and the continued support, and we will continue to support you in your endeavors. The next item we have on our agenda is citizens communication.
Board President, we have two.
Yes.
Thank you, Board President, Board of Trustees, and Dr. Pereira. At this time, I am going to call up Ms. Shamarian Williams.
No, Miss.
I'm sorry, Mr. Shamarian Williams. So Board Policy BD Local states that public comment during regular board meetings will be limited to 3 minutes. Please direct your comments to the Board President and Superintendent. If addressing an agenda item, please identify the item that you will be commenting on. Speakers may not use any individual's names or identifiable titles when addressing the board if the speaker is presenting a complaint regarding that person. Although the board cannot take specific actions on citizen communication topics due to legal requirements, they will hear the topic and the board may have the item placed on a future agenda item for action, or refer the items to a board, commission, or committee, or refer the items to staff or study. We ask that you state your name and address prior to speaking and identify the topic that you are commenting on. I will begin the timer after you have stated your name, address, and the agenda item you are speaking on. You will have 3 minutes to make your comments.
My name is Shamarian Williams. My address is 233 West Hammond. I don't even know what I'm supposed to be talking about. Dr. Jackson, can you come in real quick? about 2 years ago when I was a sophomore. I stayed in trouble a lot. Like, I was basically doing anything I could to get in trouble, skipping in the bathrooms, fighting, just a lot of stuff. And Dr. Jackson, he really could have been gave up on me and let me drop out of school, but he pushed me through and let me finish. Oh yeah, and I also met all my requirements for graduation. And I like to thank Ms. Jett and all my teachers, and Dr. Jackson most, and Dr. Pereira, and the whole school board. Thank you.
It takes a lot to get up here and talk in front of people, so very proud of you, young man. Okay, next we're gonna call up Ms. Kendall Richmond. So Board Policy BD Local states that public comment during regular board meetings will be limited to 3 minutes. Please direct your comments to the board president and superintendent. If addressing an agenda item, please identify the item that you will be commenting on. Speakers may not use any individual's names or identifiable titles when addressing the board if the speaker is presenting a complaint regarding that person. Although the board cannot take specific actions on citizens' communication topics due to legal requirements, they will hear the topic and the board may have the item placed on a future agenda for action or refer the items to a board, commission, or committee, or refer the items to staff or study for conclusion. We ask that you state your name and address prior to speaking and identify the topic that you are commenting on. I will begin the timer after you have stated your name, address, and the agenda item. You will have 3 minutes to make your comment. No, you don't have to say it. Yeah, just that's okay. Don't even look at this. All right.
Oh, okay. Kendall Richmond Johnson, 1202 Shady Lane. Okay, so I've been in Lancaster my whole life. Started at Lancaster Elementary, went to West Main. Yeah, I heard that. Where's she at? Okay, so went to West Main. My mom knew that I had dyslexia, but the teachers did not want to help, like, until this one teacher, Miss Carey. She got me tested, found out I had it. I got retested, like, completely, still to this day, learning my ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. I didn't know hardly anything when I got to high school. So I was failing these STAR tests back to back. I needed to be read to, like, physically, and it was not helping. And the computer, the audio was not helping me at all. And then one day, they switched my advisor, my regular advisory class, to U.S. History. I failed English 1, English 2, Algebra 1, and U.S. History. All the STAR tests that you need to graduate, by the way. I was in class. They pulled me out, said, you should pass U.S. History. We're putting you in Algebra 1. I got in there. I didn't know who this man was. He was short and light-skinned. I'm like, okay, who are you? And his name is Mr. Holmes. He taught me everything. Like, I relearned everything in about 2-3 weeks. 2-3 weeks. And he taught me how to work the calculator. And that was all I needed to know, and the strategies. And I went in there, and I passed the test. And then, go ahead. He told me, I did have dyslexia, I would stress a lot, and I would give up. He told me not to do it, so he gave me a water bottle, took the wrapper off of it, and I would stare at it. And I pictured the ocean, and I got really calm really fast. But let me backtrack. Before every test, I was so, like, amped up, I would cry. I would go find Ms. J every single morning. And I would just cry, and she'll walk me to my testing room, and she'll tell me it's okay. Then after testing, I'll go find her sometimes if I felt like it. And then I'll just tell her, well, let me tell y'all about Ms. J. I was in class. I'm thinking I'm in trouble, y'all. She pulled me out of class, and she had a serious look on her face when I walked in her office. And I sat down, and she had my test scores, and I passed, all 4 of them. And one more thing, Dr. Pearl, one of my dyslexia teachers is sitting right here, Miss Harrison. And that's it. Thank you.
All right.
She's a senior, 2025. We'll see her at graduation. And Board President, that concludes our citizens' communications, which was also celebrations.
All right. Thank you very much. I know Dr. Pereira mentioned earlier that we get paid the big bucks, and I think what we've just heard from these two citizens' communications is a testament of the payment that we receive for the service that we provide. And noticing that these two students have gone through some trials and they're graduating, and you know, passing all 4 stars at one time, that's definitely a testament to the hard work. That is not easy at all. So thank you. The next item on our agenda for this evening is the Conservators Report. Dr. Francois.
All right. Well, Board President Jones, trustees, and Superintendent Pereira, that was absolutely heartwarming to hear both of those stories. So it's a testament to the work that you're doing, and it's certainly a testament of the progress that the district is making as a whole, and you as trustees are putting in the time to work on student outcomes, because that's what it's all about. And to have those two young people stand before you and share their success stories, and not only share their success stories, but also to let you know that there are a lot of people in the district standing behind and with them, which again couldn't happen without boards like yours supporting these people, providing the resources that they need. So that was heartwarming. You're always an educator at heart. I may be the conservator, but I started as a teacher, so I really enjoyed that. I'm also enjoying the fact in your report, I have stopped doing the slide presentations because of the progress that you are experiencing. So I'm trusting that you're taking a look at those conservative reports when they come out in your board packet. And if you have questions, you're always available to ask those, or I'm always available for you to ask me personally. I want to share 4 areas that I'm seeing some progress in, and I want to share with you what's going to happen next month, which is February, which will mark my 2-year time frame of being here in Lancaster ISD. At that time, I think you'll get a much more in-depth report from me, because it does mark 2 years. It does mark the time that I know the agency will kind of circle back to me, and we'll have conversations about how things are going. I mean, we can see it on paper, but I do have bi-monthly meetings with agency staff to talk about progress, and the February meeting will be important. But for now, most of what you'll see in the report is that you're holding steady, that there continues to be areas that are on track and areas that you have completed. One area that I'm happy to report that hopefully February 1st I can check off, and that is that you have finally found and will be doing your Team of 8 training on February 1st. And that's a good thing, because as we know, Team of 8 is required. That is training that every, not just Lancaster ISD, but every school board in the state has to do. And that's been difficult to get scheduled for you. Not that you all did not want to do it, but it's just been a scheduling problem. So I'm looking forward to the fact that that has been scheduled and I can check that off. Along the terms of training, I want to again give you kudos for the fact that you all do take it seriously, and Ms. Allen provides me a report every month about the CEC required credits that you're getting, and there's great pace of those being accomplished. One of the reasons I spend a lot of time and concern about training is because you are a school board, and you are a model for these young people who come here and attend your schools. And if you're not learning and growing, that sends a message to them. And so I appreciate the fact that you do take it seriously, and you do accomplish. At this point, you are having good pace toward completing the required school board member training. And some of you even go above and beyond and take extra credits and that are not required. And again, you're being paid so much money. I know that you really don't mind doing that, but in all seriousness, you don't have to do the extra. And I commend you for the extra that you do, those of you that go above and beyond and do other trainings beyond what is required. Another area that I'm pleased to see progress on, and when I arrived here, there was a flurry of emailing going on back and forth to The superintendent, we introduced, and your very able administrative staff came up with a process for containing and accepting questions and concerns from trustees, and so the portal continues to be used well, and there are very few instances where people are reaching out to the superintendent through email messaging, and that's a good thing. Your superintendent has her hands full, as do all of the people who work in this district, and answering email, and if you all work, answering email is a distraction. It really is not something that you're paid to do. You have to do it, but you're paid to do, all of you are paid to do specific jobs. And so the portal has reduced the number of emails to the superintendent, and I appreciate that. A third area that I'm pleased to see, and I want to give the administration kudos, and that is that the special ed area has definitely improved. The complaints are addressed very effectively and quickly. The staff member who is in that role is very well versed in special ed protocols and law. And I will say to you now that it's I would say it's pretty certain that next year I will be marking that office complete. I wanted to give some time for Ms. Cromer to be in her position to watch how she was handling complaints and concerns. I am not a special ed expert, I can assure you of that, but I do know whether or not somebody is finishing complaints properly. And she makes every effort to do that, and she's quick to get into the mix, knows what's going on, and resolves issues. So I will say to you right now, your December report, and that's actually what I'm reporting on, does not show that as complete, but I believe very heartily that next month, when I do my January report, that is one area that I can check off. So that will mean exit criteria number 4 will have all completes, and that's where we want to be. Overall, I think that we, and I want to share this piece with you, there is an area that still is on what we call, I think if you can scroll down to, I think we need to look at the GPMs. There we are. GPM 3.2 as being off track. I did share with Dr. Pereira, Dr. Lloyd, Board President Jones, that I do want to talk with them about renegotiating that particular GPM. At the time that I arrived here, that GPM was very much off track. There were instances, numerous instances, of what I would consider undiplomatic behavior among trustees. The way that this is written right now is that it says that there will be no instances of bad behavior, basically. But I think that we can rewrite this in a way that will show that there is some growth. So we'll be talking about how whether or not that can be reconstructed or designed in a way. Does not mean that I'm backing down off diplomatic behavior and appropriate behavior around the board table, but I do understand that from time to time there might be issues that people encounter. However, that will remain off track for now until we can decide whether or not there's a way to redevelop that particular GPM. Overall, I would again, and Dr. Lloyd would echo my concerns as you are looking at your time use tracker, and you get those every month, that we still need to look at increasing the amount of time that the board, the trustees are spending discussing and wrestling with the key issue of why you're here, and that is student outcomes. And so I would urge you, I know when you get into your Team of 8 training on the 1st, that you talk about and share, and I believe that's on your agenda, to talk about how to increase that time, because that's what you're here for. There are a lot of things I know that you're interested in getting fixed. There are, I mean, the roof leaks, the team has to go to a sporting event. There are all kinds of things that swirl around in school districts, but the key is student outcomes. That is the key. And so I commend you for the work that you do on the sort of ancillary things that boards have to handle, and you do have to handle them, there's no question. But getting to the business of student outcomes is the core. And so I will urge you to continue to look at those time use trackers and see where you can improve. and see if you can keep the focus, as they say, the main thing, and that is how kids are learning and how well the outcomes are going to be. But basically, that's my report. Again, you can see in your own board documents where you are right now. Next month, I'll have a very extensive report because it does mark the 2 years that I've been here, and I will have a lot more to say about where you are, what you're doing, and how well things are proceeding. But this time, I will relinquish to Board President. That's my report.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Francois. Board, do you have any questions or comments on what you've heard thus far? Right.
Trustee Jones, I have
Trustee
a
Whitfield?
comment. First, I would like to state that I reviewed the report, and with this report, I'm not 100% in agreement with what has been stated in the report. At this point in time where we stand, nothing has changed as it relates to the concerns, not me personally and the retaliation, but as it relates to the board policies, and the unethicalness that is taking place, the illegal acts that are taking place, as well as the disregard for Texas Education Code and our oath as board members. What it appears is that we have been basically, it's been placed with the change of board, of course, to be able to communicate with actually no effective communication, because anyone can see during our board meetings when someone is talking and something is not really received on what is being said, is interruptions and then the back and forth. However, you can paint a pretty picture, but it doesn't change the fact of what is actually going on behind closed doors. And with that continue to take place, even the abuse of policy, continue to change policy or making comments during board meetings that is out of the scope of trustees and the president's role, and which undermines what the Texas Education Code states, or even the Attorney General. So with that said, I do believe a lot of things are being covered. I know a lot is being covered up, and I know for a fact that there is a lot going on. Still no changes with the nepotism, no change in the concerns for mismanagement of funds, and actually our responsibility in keeping our eye on district funds, our students, and their safety, as well as transparency. There is no transparency. But at this point, I digress. But I apologize. And let me do state, the Conservator Francois, you're stating that you would like for us to be able to move forward and things we have to get out of, but the very things that are taking place is what's going to cause us to end back up in court. And one is a violation of Education Code 11.1512. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for those statements, Trustee Whitfield. And I will just comment on, just make an overall statement. Your assertions are not in alignment with what the GPMs that Dr. Francois came in here for. So those will be addressed under different measures, not necessarily this report. And if you take a look at it, we have 4 exit criteria, and that is what she is reporting on. So at this point, I want to say to the board, good job, good job. Good job, good job. G-O-O-D-J-G-O-E, good job, good job. We are getting closer and closer. All right.
All right, I have,
Secretary Morris.
thank you, sir. Dr. Francois, I want to say thank you. You have made a difference. What I have noticed is that you allowed the board to take charge. I appreciate that. I appreciate the fact that the communication that you did with our past president, and she did a great job, Ms. Hamilton. President Hamilton did a great job. Mr. Jones is on the track. But one thing I do want to say on the behalf of the superintendent of schools, when she came into this district, the focus was on children, getting our district stable. We needed that from the state. And that's why I appreciate what you have done and our superintendent and keeping focus for where we are today. 100% graduation, never heard of in Lancaster. And the staff that is in place for leadership, great job. Appreciate it. Thank you all.
All right, thank you, Secretary Morris. Dr. Pereira?
Thank you.
Yes, I also want to thank you, Dr. Francois, for your leadership. And I know every Monday morning you sit with my leadership team and myself and hear I guess, the ins and outs of what we are working towards, working on, and how we're helping each other. And so I've always appreciated your input on that. But I would be remiss if I did not defend my team regarding accusations of illegal use of funds, which is not true. Tonight, our auditor is here. I don't believe there's any findings of that. Accusations, you can make those, but if you have no evidence, keep them to yourself, is what I will say.
All right, with that being said, the next item on our agenda is the 2023-2024 Lancaster ISD Financial Audit Report. Dr. Pereira.
Thank you, President Jones. I'm going to call forward Ms. Mosley to share that information with our board and our community. Ms. Mosley, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, Board President, board members, and Dr. Pereira. This evening we have Addison Ibar from Whitley Penn to discuss our financial audit.
There we go. Here we go. Here's the evidence.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Thank you for having me this evening. As Dana said, I'm Addison Ebarb from Whitley Penn. I was the senior manager on the engagement, so had the privilege of working closely with Dana and her team, and just want to say I appreciate her and her team for all the hard work that they put in for the audit to help it run as smoothly as an audit can, right? So tonight we're going to go over the fiscal year 2024 financial statement audit as well as the single audit results. First, we'll go through a few slides about the audit process, and then we'll go through a few slides with the actual number details as well, the results at the end of the year. So the purpose of the audit, to gain an opinion on the financial statements or on the report, there's 3 levels of an opinion that you can get on a report. The first there that I'll start with is the disclaimer. That's going to be your most adverse opinion, really negative, kind of saying we don't agree with the financial statements. But then you can move into a qualification or a modification due to a scope limitation or departure from GAAP or generally accepted auditing principles. And then lastly is the unmodified or the clean opinion that typically everybody likes to see. So to go through the audit process for you, we first start off with planning. This starts a few months prior to our field work. It's lots of calls and emails with Dana and her team and looking at preliminary numbers, looking at budgets, preparing our audit plan. Then we start looking at internal controls over all the audit areas, and then take a deeper dive into understanding and identifying key controls over key audit areas, significant audit areas, as well as riskier audit areas. And then over those riskier audit areas for the federal single audit programs, we'll actually perform testing on those internal controls as well. So making sure that those controls are actually taking place that are written in policies and procedure manuals. Then step 4 there is the substantive testing, and this is kind of the typical audit procedures that people think of, tying to bank statements, looking at invoices, billing statements, really the nitty-gritty of the audit, right? And then lastly, brings us to giving the opinion and issuing the audit report, which we'll be doing tomorrow. And then lastly here, or on the internal controls here, these are all of the internal controls that we tested throughout the audit. First was non-payroll. These are your typical accounts payable type disbursements, and reviewed all the internal controls related to that. Had no issues there. Also tested internal controls related to payroll disbursements, IT and PEMS reporting, and then procurement related to federal and state dollars and all the internal controls and compliance related to that. And then federal specific tests related to the federal major programs that we did test this year, which we'll go over in just a second. So to take you through the substantive procedures, like I said, the kind of audit process that people think of, our process kind of runs in a 5-step. Start with analytic procedures with those preliminary numbers and budgets, and as well as historical data, looking as it compares, and then move into predictive tests with those expectations of what's going on in your environment and what's going on with the district, and kind of adding those into those analytic procedures to see if we can kind of predict the current year results. Then we move into vouching, which really is that tying out bank statements, looking at invoices, looking at billings, cash receipts, all things of that nature. Then we also send out confirmations to your financial institutions that hold your cash accounts, as well as bond your debt accounts, confirm those balances as well. And then we also rely on some third-party reports from TEA, their payment report for state aid, and then the comptroller's payment report for some revenues there, and then the TEA payment ledgers and summary of finances rely on that as well. So now to present the results of this year's audit, I do want to point out that the audit was in accordance with both GAS, Generally Accepted Auditing Standards, and GAGAS, Generally Accepted Government Auditing Standards. And just to kind of point out the quick difference there, GAS is really your minimum audit standards that any entity would have to go through, but GAGAS really takes a deeper dive into your governmental funds. It's going to identify and report any areas of noncompliance. It comes with additional reporting objectives, as you can see at the back of the audit report with all the larger schedules, and then also subject to federal and state guidelines. So kind of the difference there between GAS and GAGAS, which the audit was performed under both. So happy to report that Lancaster ISD did receive an unmodified opinion over the financial statements.
Can you repeat that? Can you repeat that receipt again?
They did receive an unmodified opinion over the financial statements, and also we did not find any internal control findings related to financial reporting, and no findings related to compliance. Now to move into the federal programs, the federal single audit that was mentioned earlier. So this is a compliance audit in accordance with the Office of Management and Budget Compliance Supplement and 2 CFR 200, shortly known as the single audit, but that's the big standard there for it. So the total expenditures and federal awards for fiscal year 24 is $18.5 million. And this year, the programs that we tested as major federal programs are the Child Nutrition Cluster and the Special Education Cluster. The federal major programs are tested on a rotational basis, just depending on the amount of funding that comes in during the year, risk put out by the compliance supplement, and factors within the school as well. But these were the programs tested for this year. Also happy to report that the federal programs or the single audit also received an unmodified opinion, and no internal control findings related to the major programs were noted. And the district was a low-risk auditee and will remain a low-risk auditee with no findings in the current year. All right, now to move into the numbers. So the government-wide financial statements, what we'll start with, and it'll be the first pages in the audit report when you're looking at the actual audit report. So the government-wide financial statements are on the full accrual basis of accounting versus the fund financial statements. And so that essentially it's going to include all of your long-lived assets and all of your long-term liabilities as well, and kind of represents the net worth to the district. So the results at the end of the fiscal year 2024 ended the year with total assets of $272 million, mainly made up of capital assets $206.4 million, and cash and investments of $54.1 million. And the other component of the assets there is total deferred outflows, and I'll just go ahead and connect it with the total deferred inflows down there, 21.3 and 25.1 million. It comes from the calculation of your pension and OPEB or other post-employment benefit liability that's calculated by the TRS. Then to move into the total liabilities, ended the year with $229.4 million. Components of that are going to be bonds at $159.9 million, the net pension liability of $29.6 million, and net OPEB liability of $12.2 million. Again, just to kind of circle on the net pension and net OPEB liability, this does not represent a cash liability to the district. It's only their proportionate share of pension and OPEB liabilities calculated by the TRS. Oh, I'm sorry. And then ended the year with a total net position of $38.7 million. All right, the statement of activities related to the government-wide financial statements. Fiscal year 2024 had total revenue of $121 million, program revenue of $15.9, and general revenue $105.1 million. Expenses for the year were $102.5 million, with a change in net position, a positive $18.5 million increase. Now to talk specifically about the general fund and as it relates to budget to actual funds for the year. So the actual revenues of $78.5 million exceeded final budgeted amounts by $2.1 million, so positive there. Actual expenditures of $75.9 million actually did exceed budget this year by $800,000. Just to want to point out there that the overage there was mainly related to an AJE that comes towards the end of the year related to those TRS OPEB statements, and so those are kind of hard to estimate in that budget for sure. And then also just kind of an under projection of salaries as you were able to fill those positions. But just want to make a comment on that, but again, no issues noted there. And then as far as the fund balance did increase $2.6 million, so positive there, and ended the year with a fund balance of $39 million. All right, now just to kind of look at the general fund revenue and expenses on the next slide. So total general fund revenue, as I mentioned, $78.5 million. Major components there, as typical, are your property taxes and your state aid there for 48% and 41%, and then kind of dwindle on down into smaller percentages for your state aid, state revenue, state revenue and federal revenue and local revenue. And then the general fund functional expenditures total is $75.9 million. Largest component there, 51% instruction and related services, 14% student support services, 14% also facilities maintenance operations, and then kind of dwindling down there. Do want to point out a couple of things on your functional expenditures there. Overall, general and admin, you can see is 7%, which is really in line, kind of where you want to be, kind of showing that you're putting your money towards your students first. And you can see kind of by the pie chart when you put it together, over 90% of fund expenditures are going towards the students. So, all right, and then just a few required communications for the board. Of course, we sent the engagement letter and signed by board president as of April 10th, 2024. And then we did identify a couple of audit risks, but these are identified across all of our entities. They're not specific to Lancaster ISD or had anything to do with anything that we were seeing. Again, they're across all of our entities. And those audit risks are just the risk of management override of internal controls, and that is why we perform testing over internal controls. And then revenue recognition related to that state aid that I mentioned earlier with the reporting coming from the TEA. And then the district's accounting policies and methods are appropriate and in accordance with industry standards. We had no disagreements or difficulties with management, and we are independent of the district. last required communications. We will be issuing the management representation letter tomorrow, essentially saying that we're not aware that management consulted with any other accountants on these financial reporting matters, or essentially got a second opinion on our financial report. Also, discussed major issues with management prior to retention. We discussed the application of accounting principles, auditing standards. However, our responses were not conditioned to our retention. And we did also identify a significant estimate, again, related to that state aid, just because it comes from those TEA calculations. And with that, we'll take any questions.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Ebar, for that report. And I heard several words that just continue to speak to me, which is unmodified opinion. Unmodified opinion, unmodified opinion. And so I'd like to open it up to the board for any comments or questions that you have for Mr. Ebar.
I do.
Trustee Nichols.
Thank you, Trustee Queenie Nichols. Real quick, I know you spoke in reference to the compliance items. I just want to probably have you speculate a little bit more in reference to that, because to have unmodified items in that area, that means that we had no failures of any controls. And the majority of the times, people do have failures in control, and I think that's very great for this district. Also, it speaks on the standards of financial management as it relates to finding related or inadequate finance management systems, and we did not have that. I think it's really important that we state that, because that is a powerful impact of performance. So great job for you all. Yep.
Thank you, Trustee Nichols.
Mr. Jones,
Trustee
I
Hamilton.
just have a comment. I'd like to affirm our staff for the job well done. Dr. Pereira, thank you for the leadership by putting individuals in place that are able to produce day-to-day operations to come out with a clean audit. Thank you so much.
Secretary Morris.
Thank you very much. Thank you for presenting this. It's just confirmed what we did 4 years ago in bringing Dr. Pereira to our district. As a seasoned board member, I had no doubt that we were not on track. The first time that I probably have agreed with an audit all the way. Sometimes there are some concerns, but I really appreciate it. I echo what Trustee Nichols and Trustee Hamilton and our board president on. We are doing fine with our students, with our finances, and most of all, in our leadership. I have not seen any misuse of anything. I have not seen, all the board members are treated the same, all of us. And we appreciate your audit, what you have shown us today. It makes a difference. So I wait for your sign this document, President Jones.
All right, thank you. Superintendent Pereira. Trustee Quills, you have us? Okay. Superintendent Pereira.
Yeah, I too, again, just wanted to echo the express appreciation here. And I can't take the accolades on behalf of my team that I know. The finance team, would you stand up, please? These folks are here day in and day out, and they work very hard. Sometimes on the weekends, I have to run our CFO away from the building because she wants to be here, even though I try to feed her if she's hungry. But nonetheless, I have to send her home. They take very good care and take pride in the work that they do. So to have an audit of this nature, which has been the truth since I've been here, right? It's not me, it's the team. And so I will say to my district leadership team, I know sometimes you go, oh, Dana, come on, let me do this. But no, Dana knows we're following the rules. And that's just how it has to be. You may not like it, but it's all for good. Because again, we have to take care of the taxpayer dollars that they have afforded us to utilize on behalf of our students. And I think my team does a really stellar job of doing that. And so I appreciate you coming and presenting as well as to our board and our community. Again, the evidence speaks. So I will be quiet and let it continue to talk.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you all. Have a good evening.
You as well. The next item on our agenda is,
Trustee Jones, I have a question for the presenter before we move forward.
Okay.
I was allowing everybody else to speak.
Mr. Ebar, would you wait just a second? All right, Trustee Whitfield.
Yes, and what I would like to know is, one, I would like to thank you for your time and your presentation. Two, I would like to know is, what is the difference between your financial audit and a forensic audit?
So our audit presents that the financial statements are materially correct, and then as I presented it, we do give some opinions over the actual internal controls, but a forensic audit differs in that it actually dives and searches to find something versus looking to make sure that anything that we are reviewing is in compliance. I would say that would be the main difference between the scope of this engagement.
So with that said, is it safe to assume that the financial audit that was completed is more of a surface audit versus an in-depth of looking for specific?
It is not a targeted audit. Yes, it is.
I apologize. No need to, I'm not trying to belittle the work at all. It is just more of just a clarity as it relates to a forensic audit. But with that said, I think you really answered my question. The forensic audit dives deeper into the numbers or contracts or what have you, versus your financial audit it seems to be more of like I guess a registry where you go and you make sure the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. Is that safe to say, or?
Right, right. We're presenting that we're able to gain support that the financial statements are materially correct. I'm sorry.
Okay. And thank you for that. I appreciate you answering my question. And also, I would like to state, as it relates to this financial audit and any information that I stated with concerns to the to my statement that I made previously, I do actually have documentation facts, as well as one of the trustees admitted to everything that I stated. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Board, thank you very much, Mr. Ebar. Appreciate your time and responding to those questions. This item does require action, board, so do I have a motion?
Mr. President, I make a motion.
Second.
All right.
Well, I need to state the motion first.
All right.
I just wanted the floor.
All right, Trustee Hamilton.
Yes. I make a motion that we approve the 2023-2024 Lancaster ISD financial audit.
Okay, the motion's been properly moved by Trustee Hamilton and second by Secretary Morris. If you will, look at your screens. You should be able to cast your vote.
Hold on, mine is not there yet.
If you will, just refresh your screen there. Ms. Allen, are we looking?
No, mine hasn't done what it's
Okay.
supposed to do. Hold on. I did the refresh on it, but it's telling me it's no meetings. It just came up. Yeah. But why it went to no meetings? Okay. I don't know why I did that.
All right, thank everybody for their patience. We are getting this new system underway, and it's working fabulously. All right, Ms. Allen, how many do we have at this point?
Oh, yes, we have I do have all of the votes with an exception of trustee Whitfield.
And I'm gonna abstain from voting.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, Ms. Allen, if you would record what we have, it'd be great.
Okay, so we have 6 who are in favor of the audit report, and we have 1 abstain. Motion carried.
Thank you very much. The motion is carried. Good job, good job. I'm sorry, Ms. Jackson, go ahead. All right, fantastic. The next item on our agenda is superintendent's report, and the first one we have is campus highlights on West Main Elementary. Call up Ms. Milner.
Good evening, Board President Jones, esteemed Board trustees, and Dr. Pereira, who stepped away. I am Ms. Milner, the proud principal of West Main Elementary, here to bring you highlights about what we have going on at the Peaceful Calm West Main this year. At 211 degrees, water is hot. At 212 degrees, it boils. And with boiling water comes steam. And with steam, you can power a train. That 1 extra degree leads to extraordinary results. And that is our theme this year at West Main Elementary, and we call going that extra degree, bringing the heat. Here is our 212 leadership team, myself, principal. We have Shamara Roberts, our assistant principal, and Dr. Jacqueline Rashid, our counselor. This next slide talks about our enrollment. We have about 601 students at the time of the making of this presentation, which is steady about what we have each year. It fluctuates from day to day, but we have remained steady with our enrollment over the past couple of years. On the next slide, it talks about the teacher demographics. We have this year 36 teachers. We picked up 4 teachers, 1 in 3rd grade, 1 in 4th grade. We have an intern from the Dallas College program, and then we were able to add back our piano teacher this year. 28 of our teachers are fully certified, and we have 8 currently working on their certification. Next is a little bit of data from our MAPS growth data, and as you can see, we either met or exceeded all of our growth targets for every grade level in math and reading, except for 2nd grade, where we have an area of opportunity there. The students are currently testing for the middle of the year, and we hope to see some improvement in that area as soon as that testing is over. On the next slide, we are showcasing some of the ways that we build culture, promote student attendance, and reduce student discipline incidents, and some of those things include party with the principal. There's a picture of me doing one party with the principal there where I gave, everything is P starts with the P, so they got Pringles and pop at the party with the principal. We have a house system mentorship program where each student in our building is connected to an adult that they can go to if they have any issues or concern. We do house system parties. We have the Bringing the Heat Wall of Fame, where a student from each grade level is selected to be featured because they went the extra degree in a certain 6 weeks. Have the West Main Gents. We have the Girl Scouts. You saw our little Girl Scout today. She wore her vest when she came and did the pledges this evening. We have special guests come by, like the Grinch visited us during the holidays. We have a traveling trophy, which is an attendance incentive. We also have mini Tigerettes and our Lancaster Tiger Steppers, all incentives to keep students interested in school. This next slide showcases how we are trying to ensure that we retain our good teachers that we have at West Main. Again, they are very hype about our house system and participate in that. We do dress up and dress down days. We mentor our new teachers so that they don't feel lost and they can get on board with what we call the West Main way. That is what our secret sauce for improving student achievement. We do themed luncheons, and we have something called the Wow Wall. So whenever a teacher does something well, WOW stands for Wall of Wins, so they are celebrated on the Wall of Wins. Finally, right here, we have our ways we're trying to engage parents and the community. And this year we implemented something called the Parent Passport, and I would say it is a roaring success. And what that is, the parents have a little piece of paper that looks like a passport, and they earn stamps for coming to our academic activities. And once they have so many stamps, there's a reward. So one of the rewards we had was what we call Lunch on the Greens, where we had a picnic, and if you had enough stamps, you got to come and have a picnic lunch on our amphitheater area at the school with your students during their lunch period. At the holiday program, we had a very important parent section, our VIP section, so they got front and center seating at the holiday program. And then up here at the top, you can see some students in that picture. We did a parents' night out, and we let them drop the kids off from 5 to 8 p.m., go on a date, whatever they wanted to do, and we kept the kids. Then we have some community partnerships. Magic Eats, which was a food truck that came out and served foods to our staff. We participate in our virtual therapy program with Children's Medical Hospital, where students could get 4 virtual therapy sessions if they need it. And then we're trying to bring back all pro dads as a community outreach partnership. Finally, some glows and grows for West Main. We still boast that family-like work environment. We are implementing initiatives like the Parent Passport so that we can show our dedication to involving parents in their students' education. And then we continue to set ambitious goals for student achievement with focusing on high performance on the MAP test and the STAR. A couple of goals we have an issue with chronic attendance, absences, and tardiness. And so that in turn affects how well we can do in student achievement. We can't reach them if they're not there. And we would like to expand our outreach to involve a greater percentage of families in the academic and extracurricular activities. And that is all I have.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Milton. Ms. Milton, before you leave, I just got to see if anybody has any comments or questions for you. All right, I just want you to do. Okay, Secretary Morris.
Thank you. You got my babies.
I know.
I want to thank you for what you're doing at West Main and all of our principals and what they do on their campus. And they will get to you all's campus. They starting. We decided from now to the 12th grade, so they're going to go through all of you all. And so thank you very much. And I have seen a big difference.
Thank you.
All right.
Mr. President.
Vice President Smith.
One really quick point of clarification. I think it was on like the 3rd or 4th slide. The pre-K numbers looked kind of funny. It looked like we went from 69
to 6. I saw that it's 64.
Okay,
yes.
So that was a typo. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, this. Okay, that's what I needed. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Ms. Milner. The next item on our agenda is the November 2024 financial report. Dr. Pereira.
Thank you, President Jones. I have Ms. Mosley at the podium who will share that information with our board and our community. Ms. Shaw Mosley, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, Board President, board members, and Dr. Pereira. This evening I present the November 2024 financial report. A full version of the report is uploaded in Diligent for your viewing. The first slide you see here is the property tax collected for the month of November 2024, and the total tax collection, the net total tax collection is $2,147,901.35. And these funds come from the Dallas County Appraisal District, the Dallas County Appraisal District. I just want to take a moment to say I want to thank my staff. We worked really hard. We've had transition for 3 years, in the leadership position as a CFO and also in our department. And we work really, really hard. You know, I'm not supposed to be taking things personally, but it's a personal attack when we get accused of mismanagement of funds. I need my job. I'm not going to mismanage funds. I have 4 years until I retire, and I am no way going to the jail mismanaging school district funds. And I just want to put that on record. Okay, back to my report. The next slide is basically a general fund function financial summary, and that's a representation of revenues collected and expenditures spent, and this is basically an income statement. And as you can see, the prior year actuals where we took basically $2.5 million to fund balance, and then the current year is just where we are in November, the revenues collected and the expenditures that we spend. The next slide represents the revenue we collected, where our top driver is the foundation formula funds and also the taxes that we collect. Those are the top two drivers that we have in the district. The next slide represents the general fund expenditures, and these expenditures are all of the expenditures for the district. The top two drivers are instructions, as they should be, and then plant and maintenance operations, where we repair our buildings and do all the repairs and upkeep of our buildings. The next slide is food service, which represents all the expenditures that we spend on our third-party administrator, our staff, and then the upkeep of the kitchens. The top part is the revenue for the claims for the meals that we serve our students. The next slide is debt service, which is where all our tax money comes in to the investment account for the revenues, and then the bottom is where we pay our debt service payment for our bond payments. We currently have not paid any this fiscal year. We pay them in February and August. And also, LISD has prepaid $27.395 million of its existing bonds since 2021, including $13.065 million that LISD will prepay February 15, 2025, which has saved the taxpayers $22,294,050. The next slide is our investment reconciliation. We currently have two pools, Lone Star and Tex pools. We have a general fund account, a debt service account, capital projects account, and now we have a child nutrition account where we put our revenues for those funds. This concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Mosley. Any questions, comments?
Mr. President.
Trustee Hamilton?
No questions. Just want to say thank you again for what you all do. And you do have a right to take it personal when someone is tearing down your credibility. When you have worked hard to obtain degrees and become an expert in your field, and you have individuals that do not qualify to do what you do, judging what you do on a daily basis, it is insulting. And I will apologize to you for that. And I don't want you, Dr. Pereira, or any other professional in this building to feel that way based on the work that you all know that you all do on a daily basis.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Secretary Morris.
I can tell you, you got it together, because I had a problem with my travel. And when I came to your department, I was okay when I left. I was halfway okay when I got there. I was really okay when I left, and I appreciate your attention and your willingness. And I echo with Trustee Hamilton. You know, misuse of funds is a strong word. Audit and forensic. If you don't know that and you're talking about misuse of funds, there are some issues, because there are differences. And we have went through a forensic audit, and it was there for everybody to read. So it gives you the outline, and this audit report gives you that outline. And that was before Dr. Pereira got here. Well, you know, we got the results, I think, right when she was coming, but we were in a legal battle. And I want to also say something that I want this not to be misunderstood, because I do understand what Trustee Hamilton was stating earlier, because it is dealing with our funds, and they have to come from your department. So I do appreciate that statement she made, and I do understand that. I just think if there is funds out there we need to bring into the district, why spend unnecessary on something we can't prove? I'm in a position where I can say that because I have been sued outside of the boardroom that cost a lot of money. And so you continue to do the work, and I'm like you. If I had 5 years, I wouldn't be taking, matter of fact, I wouldn't be putting my hands on nobody else's money that is not mine. And so thank you and your staff for all you do.
All right, thank you, Secretary Morris. Is that done with everybody here? Okay.
Trustee Jones.
Trustee Whitfield.
I have a comment. I'm sorry, is it I didn't hear you. Did you?
Trustee Whitfield.
Okay. Mrs. Mosley, you have every right to make that statement. And respectfully, my comment, and the concerns that have been shared are not towards you or any other staff member. It is specifically relating to this district and what I do have to show proof of. With that said, this is more from a board standpoint and our responsibility and accountability and what's allowed and what also as it relates to the concerns that have been expressed. So for the district itself, the staff, if you feel that any of my comments or statements are targeting you specifically, I myself will apologize because it does not. And at this moment, that is all I can say. But Mrs. Mosley, I apologize for myself. I don't need anyone to apologize for me. I apologize for myself if you take anything I say personally. Thank you.
All right. Thank you again, Ms. Mosley. And board, I would like to ask you guys to submit, we need representation from your districts for the budget committee. So if you'll email that information to Ms. Allen as soon as you possibly can, so we can begin the budget process.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
And the first meeting is February the...
I'm not sure the date off the top of my head. Ms. Mosley, what's the date?
We don't have a date yet. I need to get that and coordinate with Dr. Pereira on the time and the date, but it will be in the month of February.
Okay.
You have one set.
All right. So thank you, board. If you can get that information to Ms. Allen as soon as possible, that will be ideal. Looking for a representative from your district to serve on the budget committee.
Mr. President, will those meetings be posted where any board member that would like to just go to here?
We
Yes.
will, yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. All right, the next item on our agenda is child nutrition update. Dr. Pereira.
Sir, thank you. I'm going to call forward Dr. Kimbrough to share that information with our board and our community. And while he's walking up, I too also want to commend him on the financial of our child and food nutrition, and that is causing us to have to go back out for something because he's done so well with his money.
All right, good job, good job.
Look at that. Good evening, Board President Jones, distinguished members of the school board, and Superintendent Dr. Pereira. The reason I come before you tonight is that TDA has informed us that we must take our FSMC contract out for a rebid for the 25-26 school year. Currently, we are under contract with the vendor Chartwell. We're in the second year of a 5-year contract, but TDA has ordered that contract to end and us to go back for rebid. And the explanation is this summer, the high school in Bama received CEP status, which was our goal because we knew we had students that weren't eating because they had to pay. And we have seen a dramatic increase in student participation. With that comes increased revenue. and anything greater than a $50,000 change in the value of that contract is a material change, and we must go out for a rebid. And I have a number so you can look at it. We have already started writing this RFP because we will have to take this contract out this spring. If you look at these numbers, I will give you a breakdown of how TDA determined this and how they project it. You can look at August of 2023 and compare that number to August of 2024 and our increased revenue on that first line. And if you look at the first 4 months of the 23 school year compared to the first 4 months of the 24 school year, you will see the difference in revenue, and that is an increase of $324,842.71. If you just use the variance on those numbers, that's about an $81,000 difference each month. So if you take that times our 10 operating months, that would put us this year at about an $800,000 difference if you just project. Even more important, you look at our vendor, who they also focus on, and of course, that's who we pay the most revenue to as a vendor with that contract. And you can also look at their numbers that have increased as ours. Because as our revenue goes up, so does theirs. And you can see that's $257,000, about a $65,000 variance. 10 operating months is how TDA looks at it. $650,000 increase in just 1 year, and that is based on the high school and BAMO students with lunch and breakfast. That is our intention. A side effect of accomplishing CEP, to be fair to everybody, take that contract out for rebid, and in that new contract, those schools are marked as CEP, so all vendors will have an opportunity to know that this new contract, those two schools are CEP. When that old contract was written and executed, those two schools were not CEP. So that is a material change. The only other thing is you build a new school or open a new school, you have to rebid it because new revenue coming in. It's not part of the old contract. Does anybody have any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Kimbrough. Any questions, board?
I have a statement, Mr. President.
Secretary Morris.
Thank you for feeding our kids and saving our money.
You're welcome.
All
We're in the middle of all it, so we're trying to keep that money as we go right now.
All right, thank you, Mr. Kimbrough.
All right.
Dr. Kimbrough, forgive me. The next item on our agenda is adoption of the consent agenda. We have a list of items: approval of the following minutes: December 4th, 2024 work session and governance workshop, December 19th, 2024 public hearing, financial integrity rating system of Texas, First State, financial accounting rating, 2023-24, December 19th, 2024 regular meeting. Consider acceptance of the 2024-25 SSI Community Partnership Grant and Cohort 4 Award. Consider approval of out-adoption instruction materials, and consider approval of RFQ 2024.02, RFQ legal service for construction defects. With that being said, this does require action. Do I have a motion?
Mr. President, I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
I have a motion by Trustee Hamilton, properly second by Vice President Smith. Any discussion? Hearing none. Check your devices. You should be able to cast your vote. Ms. Allen, once you have the appropriate number, just let me know, and you can recite that information out.
Yes, I do have, on behalf of the Lancaster ISD Board of Trustees, all 6 have voted, with an exception of Mrs. Whitfield, if you want to be able to take the opportunity to receive her verbal vote.
I abstain from voting. Thank you.
With that being said, you have 6 who voted yes in regards to approval of the consent agenda, 1 who have abstained. Motion carried.
Thank you very much, Ms. Allen. The next item on our agenda is discussion and possible approval of the VoIP system lease agreement with NetSync Cisco. Dr. Pereira.
Thank you, President Jones. I'm going to call forward Mr. Thornhill and Mr. Jeffrey Williamson to share that information with our community and our board. Gentlemen, the floor is yours when you are ready.
Okay, Board President Jones, distinguished board, and Superintendent Dr. Pereira. We are here to present on the recommendation of the VoIP lease agreement with NetSync Cisco. Lancaster ISD currently have a phone system that has reached the end of life, and we currently have unsupported version of Cisco United Communication Manager System. So basically, our phone system is at end of life and no longer can be supported. And we also no longer have support from the Technical Assistance Center support system from Cisco United. With an outdated phone system, we no longer can provide the important monthly updates. We cannot receive that support from the tax system. And most importantly, we can't do our monthly security patches. We have an excellent infrastructure team, but when issues arise, troubleshooting can be concerned and take longer to recover if we have a failure.
Good evening, distinguished board and Dr. Pereira. As we research potential solutions for this issue, in October we took a trip out to the Cisco headquarters, and Dr. Jackson, Ms. Thornton, and Chief Worley accompanied our technology team to seek possible new solutions. And one solution that we found that we think is very beneficial to our board are next generation phones. And we brought one of those phones tonight to show you. Not only is this phone a phone, it's actually a security device. When you turn it over, it has a panic button built into the top, so that we can, once pushed, we can have a response team come to a room. And we think this is an added layer of security that would definitely benefit the district going forward for future growth.
Additional benefits is definitely the cost. So additional benefits, upgrading the phone system, it provides a fixed cost model, budget predictability. So I can tell you our previous, when we did have support, it was $40,000 higher. So now we were able to lock ourselves into a lot of fixed costs. So we were able to decrease those payments by about $40,000 from what we was previous paying. Also, we get free common phone licensing, reducing the cost. And most importantly, what we've seen a lot in Lancaster ISD, our HR department has been doing a great job of getting more people, more staff in our district. We have a 15% growth allowance just in case we have an increase in staff. So that means more phones and more security layers. So the cost of this phone system, we would like to have a 5-year lease, which would be $139,533.82. Over the 5 years, we will pay a total of $697,669.10. We had that at a 0% interest rate. We have been budgeting for this so that it was come out of the technology budget. Once that 5 years in, our goal is, right, we even started meeting as early as yesterday to plan to transition to a cloud-based system. We need to improve our infrastructure first, but we've already started planning to do that once this lease is up to move over to a cloud-based system. Any questions?
All right, thank you, Mr. Thornhill and Mr. Williamson. Any questions, board? Vice President Smith?
Yeah.
Greetings, gents. Thank you very much for your presence here and your due diligence. Always appreciate it. I really just had one really quick question. So you guys have a panic button on the back of the phone, and I like that. I think that's a good idea. Does that interface with our current Raptor alert system, or is that a separate alerting?
Once we get all the automation done, we can. That's one of the benefits that we took to Cisco, that it will work with all the resources we have in the district right now.
Awesome. Also, I think the last time I got to chat with you gentlemen, we were talking about the technical footprint and how much influence this might, or weight this might put on the network. Is this going to influence the throughput as we move all these devices to our network?
Actually not, because we're in the process of getting a second 10-gig pipe from AT&T, so we'll segment the traffic for the phone system with the security system, so it'll have its own highway for traffic.
I love it. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Vice President Smith. Any additional questions, comments?
Yes, Trustee Jones, this is Whitfield.
Trustee Whitfield.
I would like to state that when I reviewed this information, I needed to gather more information and basically educate myself on this phone system and for the reason for paying over $500,000 for a phone system for a district our size. I did take it up on myself to further educate myself and reach out to both NetSync and other districts, shall I say. With that said, I will have to express my concern that we are looking to invest almost $1 million in a phone system. And based on the information that I received, that is quite a bit. Because we only have 3 minutes, can go into details regarding the information that I received. However, this almost $1 million in a phone system for a district our size is quite a bit. We are not Dallas. But with that said, can you please advise what are we currently paying? And if you stated that, I apologize if I missed it, but can you advise what we are currently paying for our phone system?
Currently, our previous statement before it went to outdated was $208,000. Well, we pay it per year, so not total, but there's $208,000 each year we had to renew for that price because we did it yearly.
So right now we're paying $208,000 a year.
Correct, and if approved tonight, we will drop it down to $139,000.
Okay, thank you.
All right. If there are no other questions or comments, this item does require action. Do I have a motion?
Mr. President,
Vice President Smith.
I move that we support and approve the recommendation placed forth by Dr. Thornhill and Mr. Williamson.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion by Vice President Smith and properly second by Trustee Nichols. We'll now take a vote. If you guys will, check your system. Try it again for me. There is a charm.
Thank you very much. Board President Jones, I do have, on behalf of the Lancaster ISD Board of Trustees, 6 have voted, and Trustee Whitfield, whenever you're ready.
Yes, ma'am. My vote would be no.
I'm sorry, what was your vote?
Ma'am?
I'm sorry. For clarification, what was your vote? What was your vote?
No.
Okay, at this time, I have 6 yes, 1 no. Motion carried.
Thank you very much. Congratulations, gentlemen. The next item on our agenda is discussion and take action to approve resolution of the board regarding wage payments during emergency school closing in accordance with DEA local. Dr. Pereira.
Yes, thank you, President Jones. I'm going to call forward Dr. Gray and General Counsel Alexander to share that information with our board and our community.
Good evening, Board President, Superintendent, Board of Trustees. I bring for your consideration a resolution of wage payments for the Lancaster Independent School District emergency school closing on January the 9th and 10th, 2025. On January the 8th, we were notified by the LISD Police Department of an impending storm headed to our area. Subsequently, the district closed on January the 9th and the 10th. Board policy, DEA local, states that during any emergency closing, all full-time, part-time employees are entitled to regular pay unless otherwise directed by the board. Following closure, the board shall adopt a resolution to establish parameters for wages. In the resolution, we ask that the board continue wage payments for all non-exempt employees who were instructed not to report to work during the emergency closing. All exempt employees will continue to receive their regular wages. The resolution also authorizes continued wage payments at 2 times the regular hourly rate to all essential non-exempt maintenance workers that were directed to come into the district
during the closure to provide emergency services such as clearing ice, checking each building for water leaks, and servicing HVAC machinery. And what are your questions?
All right, thank you, Dr. Gray. Any questions or comments for Dr. Gray on this item?
I Trustee Jones have a comment.
Trustee Whitfield.
Yes, thank you. I was very pleased to see this on the agenda. I do believe that the district has no control over a shutdown. And if employees have to stay at home for whatever reason there's no control of their own, they should not be penalized for it. And for those who take that time to come in to support the district, even though, we are shut down, to be able to receive an additional benefit is always a plus. And I just wanted to state that, I am very pleased to see this, and I am so for it.
All right, thank you, Trustee Whitfield. If there are no other questions or comments, this item does require a motion.
Mr. President.
I'll make a motion that we approve. Trustee Jones?
Okay, I have a motion by Trustee Whitfield.
I second.
Second by Trustee Nichols. Any other discussion? Hearing none, check your devices. Cast your vote. Ms. Allen, when you have the appropriate number, you are welcome to proceed.
Thank you, Board President Jones. Waiting for Secretary Morris, Mrs. Morris.
And almost there. I did it 5 times. Take it. Let's go slower then.
Hit the circle at the top. President Jones?
Yes.
I have just a friendly request across the dais. When individuals are making motions, could they please state the actual motion that they are making into the record?
Duly noted. Trustee Whitfield, would you mind restating your motion on that item, please? Just include the item that is listed in the agenda.
I'm sorry, I switched. I'm looking at other items now. Bear with me just a moment. I would like to make a motion that we approve the resolution of the board regarding wage payment during emergency school closing in accordance with DEA Local G3.
Thank you. All right. No, we don't have a second again. We're good.
Is that to the satisfaction?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm sorry. Thank you, President Jones. Trustee Whitfield, I know you made the motion. Can I go ahead and be able to receive your verbal vote?
My vote is yes.
Thank you very kindly. Motion carried unanimously.
Right, fantastic. Thank you very much. And I want to say that that's going to be an outstanding thing for our staff. And again, a great way for us to reward them for coming in. The next item on our agenda is board matters. The first item is the board discussion and possible approval of the amendments of the adopted August 22nd, 2024 board operating guidelines. At the last meeting, I shared with you this would be our first read and requested any input from anyone. I did not receive any input from anyone regarding that. So with that being said, I would like to entertain a motion for us to adopt the amendments as they have been presented.
Actually, Trustee Jones, I know I did not submit, but I do, I do have a question.
Okay.
And that question is, who requested to place wait, bear with me just a moment. If I'm not mistaken, as it relates to the draft changes to the board operating guidelines, who requested that to be placed on the agenda?
I believe it was myself, but
I'm
yeah.
sorry, I can't hear you.
I believe it was Ty G. Jones.
Okay, if I may ask, what was the reasoning, what was your reasoning behind placing this on the agenda or your purpose for, we've already we completed our, the guidelines, but then you went back and wanted to add additional information and you took it up on yourself, but there was no legal changes. So I guess my question would be, why would you place these?
It's a request that the board will entertain, and the board will have an opportunity to say yes or no to this request. This item was placed on a work session to be placed on the agenda, and then we move forward at that point. So my rationale, if you look at item number 2, it speaks to, in order to ensure security of confidential information and discussions. That was the reason for that ad.
Okay, so however, your request to make this amendment does not line up with the Texas Education Government Code that you referenced to. When I consulted as it relates to the reasoning that you mentioned in here, well, there's really not a mention, but the statement that, or the wording that is used, that is not in the Texas Texas Government Code 551127. And actually it states the opposite, that video conference in fact can be implemented in, and I can read the details to you, and it will be the updated code. So I was going to ask you where, like, what did you reference this before COVID code, after COVID? How old was the amendment that you reviewed? Because the information that you have stated for closed session is not correct.
Okay, well, we can look at the code to ensure this is correct, but the information that we are requesting within our operating guidelines is here for you to read and for the board to digest, and we will take action on that tonight.
Okay, I understand that, but to bring clarity, this concludes
looks like your 3 minutes, and you'll have an opportunity to speak more once we go through the actual motion, when we get to discussion.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion.
Vice President Smith.
A motion that we approve the amendment to the board operating guidelines adopted August 22nd, 2024.
Okay, we have a motion by Vice President Smith. I will second. Any discussion? Hearing none.
Actually, there is one of the staff muted me. So yes, I do.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay, so with that said, your statements, in order to ensure security of confidential information and discussion, the board may not conduct closed meeting via video conference. So does that mean there will be audio conference? Because there's two different things. There's video and there's audio.
No, ma'am. There will not be audio either.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
No, there will not be audio. There will be
so you're saying there will be no video and no audio conference for closed session?
That is correct.
And you're stating, you are actually stating that this is in reference to Texas Government Code 551127 that you've taken up on yourself. Because in fact, this is another means of targeting, and this doesn't allow me to be able to operate in my fiduciary or anyone's fiduciary responsibility when we are operating remotely. So with that said, that means this goes for you as the president, or is this an exempt for you?
This will be anyone who is on the board. If they are not present at the meeting, they will not be able to participate in closed session.
Okay. And I just want to make sure I understand what you're stating, although this is a conflict of interest and this undermines what legal say. If Attorney O'Hanlon in at the moment, because I can't see, I only see board matters. I'm sorry?
Yes, he is present.
Attorney O'Hanlon, can you speak to this, please?
The question was what?
Can you speak to... Go ahead, Trustee Whitfield.
How this is not a conflict of interest with the Texas Government Code 551127, actually it undermines that code because that code specifically states that video conference and audio is allowed in closed session.
May, the statute says may be allowed, all right? It doesn't say shall, it says may. So the question is, given where we are and the issues that we've had with respect to that, does the board want to change their permissive policy with respect to that, or do they not? It is their prerogative to do that in order to provide security for meetings. So they're not required, the 551-127 doesn't require any remote meeting. It permits it, all right? And it permits it under board policy. This is a board policy that deals with one aspect of it. You have discretion in terms to adopt it. So that there's a draft that modifies it. It's your decision. It's not prohibited by law. It's at discretion of the board.
Okay, and I thank you for your response to that. But from what I'm reading, that is not 100% correct. But I will take this up as need be. Also, and that's on the
Trustee Whitfield, you have 5 seconds.
I would like to address I understand, but I would like to address the other section, the beginning January.
Okay, Trustee Whitfield, your time is now up. We will now take your votes. You can go ahead and cast your votes, unless there's any other comments. I'm sorry.
I have a question.
Secretary Morris.
Real quick. Mr. Jones, for emergencies or illness, those circumstances will be made up on requests?
No, ma'am.
Before time? No. So if one is deceased, we know they're not coming. If one is in the hospital, we know they're not coming.
Correct. So you will not be able to participate in closed session remotely. Okay. You can participate in the meeting itself in open, but not in closed because of confidentiality.
Okay.
All right. If there are no other questions, please cast your vote, and I will await Ms. Allen to identify if we have 6 that have cast, and then we will get the one. Actually, Trustee Whitfield, do you want to cast your vote now?
No, I'll wait. Go ahead.
Excuse me?
I said I'll wait till everyone casts theirs. Go ahead.
Thank you, Board President Jones. I do have, on behalf of the Lancaster ISD Board of Trustees, I do have everyone's vote with an exception of Trustee Whitfield, whenever you're ready to cast your vote.
Yes, ma'am, and I vote no.
According to let it be noted for the record that we have 5 that voted yes, and we have 2 that voted no. Motion carried.
All right, thank you very much. And just as you guys would review this document, this information goes into effect as of tonight, because it's been approved. So we'll move forward in that direction. Any other questions or comments on this item? All right. The next item on our agenda is discussion and possible approval of the Lancaster ISD election order and notice for the May 3rd, 2025 general election for District 3 and District 6. An order of general election for other political subdivisions, Lancaster Independent School District, school board elections. And I have some handy dandy information here to read. An order of general election for the political subdivisions, Lancaster Independent School District, school board election. An election will hereby be ordered to be held on May 3rd, 2025 for the purpose of voting on single-member districts, place 3 and place 6. Filing period is from Wednesday, January 15th, 2025 through Friday, February 14th, 2025 from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Lancaster ISD Central Administration Building, 422 South Center Avenue, Lancaster, Texas. And I believe that is it. All right. Does this require action, Ms. Allen?
Yes.
All right. So with that being said, do I have a motion?
Mr. President, I make a motion that we approve the LISD election order and notice of the May 3rd, 2025 general election for Districts 3 and District 6.
We have a motion by Trustee Hamilton.
Second.
Second by Vice President Smith. If you will, please look at your screens to cast your votes. Sorry, is there any discussion? All right.
Vice President Smith, whenever you're ready to cast your vote. Okay. Trustee Whitfield, whenever you're ready to cast your vote.
I abstain. Thank you.
With that being said, we have 6 that voted yes, and we have 1 that have abstained. Motion carried.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Allen. All right, the next item we have on our agenda is the Region 10 notice for board elections. A Board of Directors election will be held between the dates of March 1st to April 5th, 2025 in the independent school districts in the following counties: Collin, Dallas, Ellis, Fannin, Grayson, Hunt, Kaufman, Rockwell, and portions of Henderson, and portions of Van Zant for the purpose of electing 1 director for Place 6, representing Grayson County, and 1 director for Place 7, representing Ellis and Kaufman counties. The filing period is from 8 a.m. February 1st, 2025 until 4:30 p.m. February 20th, 2025. The persons seeking election must reside in the county or counties to be represented. And Board, I provided you guys with this information at the last board meeting, so you should have gotten a packet that was kind of looking like this. If you look down here, which kind of gave you the information. So when this is done, we will have an opportunity to vote when they identify their slate. So this is not an actionable item for us this evening. Okay, any questions or comments on that item? All right, hearing none, we will move to our reminders. The Team of 8 training is scheduled for February 1st, 2025. They'll be held at the SEEK.
Team of 8, I think it's the SEEK.
Okay, that will be held at the SEEK building, and the agenda will be forthcoming. I did request for any input on agenda items from everyone. I have received only 1, so myself and Dr. Law will begin creating that agenda and get that out to everybody as soon as possible. Next, we have the TAPC State Conference in Galveston, February 12th through the 16th of 2025. I will say that if you're able to attend that, you will be in for a treat because I'm presenting twice. Hello, world. All right, and the next item we have is a TASB Governance Camp, which is March 5th through the 8th. That too is in Galveston, Texas. And they have quite a bit of stuff going on there. And I just want to add one other thing for Lancaster ISD, which is not on here, but I just got information that the Texas Caucus of Black School Board Members Scholarship for high school students ends on January 31st. So if we have any students, let's get that information over to them so they can kind of submit that. So they have an opportunity for scholarships. That's the Texas Caucus of Black School Board Members. And I have just, another little note here. With Leadership TASB, they are implementing a TASB Alumni Ambassador Program. And Ty G. Jones will serve as one of those and lead ambassadors moving forward. And the idea behind this program is to get any LTASB alumni to become more engaged with advocacy. And the program aims to recruit the best trustees, identify outstanding trustees who exemplify exceptional leadership in their communities, foster a connected network, provide a platform for alumni to maintain meaningful relationships and collaborate on critical issues, and lastly, champion community advocacy. And of course, we're in a season right now where we definitely have to advocate in this new session in which things are moving in a different direction that may not actually support our initiatives. With that being said, the last item on our agenda is adjournment. I move that we adjourn.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second. And we are so adjourned. We don't have to vote on that.
Good job, good job.